Would you believe that in capitalist America, there's a form of company that's created, not just to benefit their shareholders with profits, but also to provide benefits for their employees, the environment, and the community that they're based in? Welcome. Today's show will be all about the Dr. Bronner's Company. So let me start with an overview. Okay, so on this channel, I illustrate examples of economic justice and injustice in America. And unfortunately, in this country, I find myself talking more about the latter than the former. But I'm happy to say today is not the case. In today's show, I'll be discussing a type of company you probably have never heard of. It's called a B-Corp, short for B Corporation. B-Corps are companies that are created not just to benefit their shareholders, but to benefit society in general. Now, before I go any further, I'm only discussing the Dr. Bronner Company because, as you'll see, as a B-Corp, it fits in with the purpose of this show, which is to discuss and also promote instances of economic justice in America. Now, I don't receive any compensation for discussing any B-Corps, and I also won't be talking about this company in the context of promoting its products. How and why B-Corps are established and how they conduct their business is the only reason I discuss them in the first place. If I have a compensation relationship with any B-Corp in the future, it will be disclosed in the description box of this show. Now, I'll discuss how the Dr. Bronner Company is different than others in a minute, but first, let's watch a video about what makes B-Corps unique.
Corporate law in the U.S. really mandates directors to have the duty to just maximize profit by any means, shifting the role of business to be more about just maximizing shareholder value. And so whether you do have a very strong mission statement, really you need to make decisions based on the best interest of your investors. There really is no way for us as a customer to really see the difference between a good company and just good marketing. And so we created a company-level certification called B-Corp. Returning back to where it began, of allowing a director to consider more than just profit.
Patagonia, since its beginning in 1973, has been committed to environmental protection. We helped the founders of the B-Corp movement develop their certification tool. For a new company, it can be a guide for how to set up a company, not just to deliver value to the shareholders, but for benefit to society and environmental protection.
It's almost like a checklist, for us to say, well, how serious are you about being a socially responsible company? From a business perspective, we cannot prosper unless the whole society prospers.
What we hope is that then that redefines success. And so that all companies compete not just to be the best in the world, but the best for the world.
So as you can see, B-Corps really are structured differently. They're structured to provide benefits, not just to the shareholders, but also to society in general. So what makes the Dr. Bronner Company unique is that it's both a benefit corporation and a B-Corp. Now, a benefit corporation is designed from the outset to provide social benefits, while B-Corps can start that way, but most of the time they're transitioned from for-profit companies into this new kind of structure where they provide social benefits as well as profits for shareholders. So the Dr. Bronner Company really is one that honors the vision of its founder, E.H. Bronner, by making socially and environmentally responsible products, which are soaps and personal care products, while compensating its employees really well and dedicating its profits to social causes, which is really at the heart of the B-Corp movement in general. Originally, the Dr. Bronner Company, if you can believe it, was a mixture of religion, spirituality, environmentalism, and self-help. And it had a goal of peace and harmony among humanity. Like I said, it's hard to believe this is an American company. I'm only saying that because I used to watch a show called American Greed, and more often than not, it always showcased stories of executives of American corporations screwing over their customers, their suppliers, their employees, and the stockholders in order to enrich themselves. And they all belong to C corporations. Right? Now, even though the founder, Dr. E.H. Bronner, is deceased, Dr. Bronner Company, a B-Corp, is now run by its grandsons and is exactly the opposite of the C Corporation, the one in the American Greed show, okay? In fact, it's an organization dedicated to social causes, like creating fair trade projects across the world that ensures fair and just treatment of farmers and workers, in addition to maintaining an ethically and socially responsible workplace at its manufacturing facility in San Diego County. So let me show you what I mean about Dr. Bronner Company being an ethically responsible company. Let's watch this video, come back and talk about it.
The company is the perfect model of what Dr. Bronner would describe as constructive capitalism. Over a third of company profits go to supporting charitable projects worldwide. These include freshwater wells in Ghana, orphanages in Haiti and China, as well as a 1,200-acre land donation to the San Diego County Boys and Girls Club for a campground for disadvantaged children. The Dr. Bronner's Magic Soaps Company strongly believes in running a business that is good for its employees, society, and the planet. They are a driving force behind the organic movement in cosmetics, in transitioning the industry from its reliance on pesticide-intensive conventional agriculture and petrochemicals to sustainable organic farming and ingredients.
Yeah, I didn't want to turn this into a commercial, so I cut it short. But I wanted you to get the flavor of what kind of company this really is and what its goal is. Now, by this company being a B corporation means that it's not beholden to stockholders. So it can design its business model and all its processes without Wall Street interference. This type of company treats its workers, suppliers, and customers with respect by design. That's why I chose to talk about this company. Now, the grandsons, David and Michael Bronner, who run the company, have made Dr. Bronner as a model of providing economic justice and workplace equality. Get this. Employees' health care is provided 100% free of charge. And in America, where the median CEO to worker pay ratio is more than 300 to 1, the grandsons, David and Michael, make roughly about $200,000 a year. In addition, there's no difference in benefits offered to company executives and those offered to every single benefit-eligible employee in the company. What I mean is things like you hear all the time: golden parachutes, stock options, all kinds of different management perks that only the executives of that company are privileged to receive, right? Now, in this particular company, Dr. Bronner's, if those benefits are not offered to the rank and file, they're not available to management either, period. More than half of Dr. Bronner's employees are women, and nearly 60% are people of color. You know, it's mind-blowing that this company supported efforts to increase the minimum wage so much that it devoted almost, ready for this? $500,000 to minimum wage ballot efforts in 2016. Now, the next statements I'm going to read come directly from the Dr. Bronner's company website. And I quote, "We need to end corporate welfare. U.S. taxpayers are now bearing the cost for employers not paying a living wage. Most minimum wage workers rely on public assistance to make ends meet. Higher minimum wages boost the consumer buying power that businesses and communities depend on to thrive. Businesses also benefit from lower employee turnover, increased productivity, product quality, and customer satisfaction." End of quote. This is an American company making that statement. Okay? Now, Republicans would call these socialist statements, but they're made by an American company executive. So now have a look at the Dr. Bronner's B-Corp scorecard. This is a rating which the B-Lab gives each company that's the B-Corp. And the B-Lab is the regulatory body for B corporations that represent how well these companies are carrying out their social mission. Now check out the Dr. Bronner rating. It's one of the highest ratings possible. Okay, so why did I talk about the Dr. Bronner Company today? For two reasons. Because as you now know, not all company types are based on the profit is the only thing that matters philosophy or business model, right? And also because employees don't really care what kind of organization it is that treats them with respect and provides them with enough of the economic compensation that allows them to live a dignified life. They just want to be respected for their work by being compensated fairly with pay and benefits that will allow them to lead a dignified life, right? And the Dr. Bronner Company, a B corporation, does just that. Look, there are fewer and fewer C corporations these days that really respect their employees' labor by providing them with good compensation. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, labor unions have been decimated to a great extent, but also because of shareholder demands, international competition, which forces a race to the bottom in many industries, and also plain greed. The Dr. Bronner Company is not one of those companies. In fact, David Bronner, one of the owners, said, and I quote, "We are an activist company. Our focus is mostly on trying to leverage our business to promote social changes for the good. And as a legal entity, we can put it in our bylaws that we don't have to maximize the returns of shareholders. Other goals, such as providing social benefits, are equally as important as profit." End of quote. And that statement is at the heart of the B-Corp movement, or what the B-Corps are all about. So now that you know what B-Corps are about, I believe we should all start patronizing the products and services of these companies instead of their C corporation equivalents, or cousins, whose only goal is maximizing profit and can be very destructive. I'll be showcasing more examples of B-Corps in future shows, but since in my opinion, Dr. Bronner Company is a model of a truly socially responsible company, I wanted to start with showcasing that company first. Now, if you'd like to know more about B-Corps and how they benefit society, visit bcorporation.net. I'll include the link in the show description. Well, that's the show for today. Next week I'll be discussing the 401k scam, basically illustrating how 401ks really don't provide any long-term economic security for American retirees, and were never designed to. If you like the topics I present on the show, please consider subscribing. In any event, have a great day, and always remember, you deserve the government you vote for.